All right. Well, meanwhile, consumer groups say a lot of Americans are being gouged by the credit card companies, and they're calling on Congress to do something about it.
Activists are using Valentine's Day to launch a campaign called Kiss Credit Card Ripoffs Goodbye. They're concerned about high interest rates, hidden fees, and other penalties. Let's bring in Jim Campen of Americans for Fairness in Lending here to talk about it. Jim, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me on.
What are you trying to do here? Tell us.
Well, AFL is a national organization. It's an umbrella group for 17 or 18 national organizations. And our job is to get out the message, to engage people, to push their elected representatives to try to get effective regulation of the whole range of predatory financial practices. And right today, Valentine's Day, there's been a major focus on credit cards. Let me show you the credit card that we delivered today, that our partners, Consumer Union, delivered today to Congress. I don't know if you can see it here.
Yeah, we see it. Looks like a Rolling Stones ticket with the big
Help
lips.
Kiss Credit Card Ripoffs Goodbye. Support credit card reform now. And this, people signed on to this. The Consumers Union hoped they might be able to deliver maybe 30,000 credit cards, or 40,000 postcards, I mean. In fact, they were able today to deliver 120,000 of these postcards to Congress. Now, each person who signed up on the postcard has one representative and 2 senators, so that's 40,000 people who around the country who decided we're fed up with the tricks and traps of the credit card industry, and we'd like our elected representatives to do something about that.
Hey, Jim, you know, we've got somebody here called Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you know who Dave Ramsey is. He's got a show, a terrific show on Fox Business. I recommend you watch it. It's 8 o'clock every night. What he specializes in are cutting up credit cards. He cuts them in half, says, get rid of it. Folks, it's your responsibility to get yourself off credit card debts. If you're having a problem with credit cards, nobody's putting a gun at your head and forcing you to take one.
It's true that people should use credit cards responsibly, but the reality is that credit cards are necessary and useful for lots of purposes.
Not so, says Dave Ramsey. They are not necessary. There are a lot of Americans learning to get along without them.
As long as you don't want to rent a car, you're fine without a credit card.
There are a lot of things
I have credit cards and I use them responsibly.
Yeah.
What we argue is that the companies ought to deal responsibly with their customers.
Okay.
Let me give you an example of some of...
Okay, go ahead.
Can I give you an example of some
examples? Yes.
Well, an example is that credit cards are a written contract between the credit card companies and the consumer. You have a credit card. You've seen these contracts. They come in 6-point type. They're about 30 pages long. And they have a lot of provisions in there which are quite unfair. For example, they give you the right to give the company the right to change the terms of the credit card at any time for any reason, including no reason.
But isn't the onus...
Now, this is the only kind of contract I know of. The only kind of contract I know of where one of the parties can just unilaterally change the terms of the contract.
That's outrageous, definitely. But isn't the onus on the person who signs on the bottom line to read that? And again, people just aren't being smart about it. It's the same as the subprime loans. Oh, I didn't know that it was going to reset. Well, it was written right there, granted fine print. But at what point, Jim, does the responsibility lie on the person who signed it?
I think what we need is have fairer contracts that people can sign. Now, I think if I sign a contract with Bank of America or Chase for my card, I've got should have a reasonable expectation that they're not going to change the terms of that unless they have a good reason to do that. There are customers now. I read about a customer yesterday in North Carolina from Bank of America. He had about a 9% interest rate. He got letters saying your interest rate is going to go to 25%. No apparent reason. Sometimes the reason they give is that, well, you missed the utility bill payment, therefore your credit rating is a little bit worse, and we have the right, it's called universal default. Any problem with anybody else, even though you've never had any problem with us, on that particular credit card, you're perfectly good standing, you paid all your bills, and then what happens, you get socked with a big rate increase. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 percentage points, I'm talking going up to 29, 35%.
All right, Jim, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
coming on. Let me give you one more
Quickly,
example of the kind of thing they do.
He's got a lot of information. Go ahead.
It used to be if you wanted to use your credit card and you were going over your credit limit, they would say they deny that. Now they approve it, and after approving it, they hit you with a $39 fee.
Well, that's outrageous.
They shouldn't be allowed to charge fees that for transactions they've approved. It is outrageous.
You're the only person other than Dave Ramsey I've seen with so much passion about credit cards. You and Dave Ramsey should do a show together.
Definitely.
Well, a lot of people have a lot of passion. That's 120,000 credit cards to Congress today.
Yeah.
Keep us posted, Jim.
Thanks a lot, Jim.